Okay, I think I show us at 2:30. So we will go ahead and get started. I'm Renee Earls. I'm the President and CEO of the Odessa Chamber of Commerce, and I want to thank all of you for joining us for our inaugural International Women's Day virtual panel. We have some fabulous things to talk to you about today. I want to tell you a little bit about International Women's Day and how this got started. Apparently from our research, it shows that in 1909, people took to the streets to honor garment workers who had protested against inhumane working conditions the prior year. In 1975, March 8th became a United Nations official holiday, gaining awareness around the globe as a way to recognize women. So about 2 to 3 weeks ago, our staff was talking and we thought, you know, we have a community full of phenomenal women. So we started talking about doing something virtually. Now we started with, 50 women that we wanted to put on this panel, and there was no way that we could honor all of those on our list. So we tapered it down to a group of 10, of which you will meet today. These are phenomenal women who are not only leaders in their organization, but they are also spouses, they are moms, they are daughters, they are volunteers, they are women who we know, who we love, who we trust, and who we are so honored to have support our community and work alongside in our community each and every day. So I want to go ahead and stop sharing our screen there. You see all of them listed. We have a great program for the day. Just a little bit about our format. We will be introducing the panelists. They'll introduce themselves, tell you a little bit about themselves, both personally and professional, and then just what their definition of success is. Once we go through the panel of our 10 women today, then we have 5 different questions that we are going to pose. Each of them will answer a question, and then we're going to take questions from you. We just a reminder, everyone is muted and your camera is off, other than our panelists today, and that's in order to just be able to have the best technology that we can have today with so many joining us. We also want you to use the chat line to ask any questions, to make comments. We will take those questions and answers as we go. Some of those may be for specific panel members, but we'll answer your questions. And then we'll wrap up our program today with one final question for all of our panelists. So what we're going to start off with, we will introduce our first, I'll introduce our first person on our panel today. And I'm going to stop sharing so we can go back to camera. There we go. Our first panelist really is doing double duty, if you will. I'll let her share with you as to what her professional role is. But Stacey Brown serves as the chairman of our board of directors. Stacey has been on our board for many, many years now and is a wonderful volunteer and leader in the community. But we're so proud to have her as the chair of our board. So Stacey, if you will go ahead and get us started with introductions and again, what you believe success means to you.
Thank you so much, Renee. It's an honor to be with all of you here today, and especially among this distinguished panel of successful women. Again, my name is Stacey Brown, and I'm proud to be a native Odessan. I am the CEO of Odessa Regional Medical Center and Scenic Mountain Medical Center in Big Spring. I've had Big Spring Hospital since August of last summer. I have a bachelor's degree in accounting from Texas Tech. I am a CPA and have been in healthcare for 30 years, with 26 years of those at RMC. I began my healthcare career at Odessa Regional as a staff accountant and worked my way up to Chief Financial Officer, a position that I held for 13 years, with 4 of that at Trinity Medical Center in the Metroplex. I was then Chief Operating Officer for 2 years, and I've now been CEO for over 11 years. I'm married to Michael, and we have 3 wonderful daughters, Courtney, Madison, and Savannah Gehrig, all who live in Odessa. as well as 2 sons, Aiden and Alex Brown, who live in the Denver area. So my definition of success is finding what you love and doing it well. You don't have to be a CFO or even a CEO to be successful. I've considered myself honestly successful in every position I've held since graduating from tech. My goal was to have a career that I could be proud of and to always do my very best. I did just that, and that's what has led me to where I am today. I work in a profession that makes me proud, where I can also make a difference in the communities that I love. So that's what success means to me, Renee.
Thank you, Stacey. Thank you so much for kicking us off, and certainly you are successful in all that you do. Our next panelist is Dr. Sharon Cannon, and she is the Dean of Nursing at the Texas Tech University Health Science Center right here in the Permian Basin. Dr. Cannon has been an active part of our community for many, many years, and we're so glad to have you with us today.
Well, thank you so much, Renee, and for all of you. I'm so proud of each one of you as I sat here looking at the screen thinking, what a distinguished group of people we have, and I know we have more that are out there, but thanks for the opportunity to be here today and to talk about that. I'm the Regional Dean for School of Nursing at Texas Tech. I was in Lubbock for a couple of years and left up there and went to Sealy to take care of my dad for a few years and had the opportunity to come to Odessa. My parents actually lived here in Odessa when I was a toddler, so I can say I came home as quickly as I could. I've been here now about 22 years. And I've enjoyed every one of them. This is a wonderful community and a great place to live. And I keep trying to get my kids to move here. I haven't succeeded yet, but we're working on it. I will tell you that I've always wanted to be a nurse. From the time I was a little bitty kid, I always wanted to be a nurse. I cut open my dolls and I stitched them back up. I gave friends of my parents and my parents, I gave them what I called were shots, and that was toothpicks. And believe me, I really stuck them with the toothpicks. They got a little scared of me when I started walking around with a toothpick. They got pretty cautious there. But it's something that I always wanted to do in a profession that has stood me well over the years. I've had the opportunity to do lots of different things for which I'm eternally grateful. I can't tell you how nice it's been to have this journey to do different things in different ways. I know we think mostly of nurses in hospitals, but we do serve in different roles. And so that's been a great one for me. I can't say enough about it. When I think about all of this, I have to tell you, I have 2 grown children. I have 4 grandchildren, and I have 2 great-grandchildren. So they do keep me busy, and I dearly love having the opportunity. Haven't been able to be with them because, of course, of COVID and the issues surrounding that. But we have become creative about ways to be in touch. So I've enjoyed that. For me, success. I had to think about this for a little bit. I think success to me has to come from partially within in self-confidence, believing in yourself, setting some goals and being able to achieve them. And when you can't achieve them, learn from them so that you can have other opportunities to grow and develop. Certainly just knowing I've met my goals, but getting feedback from other people is one way, and always as a teacher, to me, to watch students when they have that sort of an aha moment, when all of a sudden it makes sense and they can move forward for that. So I think success has to start though within the individual. You have to believe in yourself and to be truly successful.
I love that. Thank you, Dr. Cannon. And I had no idea that you lived here at one point. So you are a true Odessan. Thank you for
Yeah, I
joining us
am.
today. Our next speaker is Sondra Eoff, a native of Odessan. She is the owner of Eofficial Enterprises, amongst several other entities. So Sondra, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. And I have to say that thank you so much to you and your staff for doing this International Women's Day. I know it's recognized in other countries and it's really a big event, and it hasn't been around here, but you're changing that, and I appreciate that. I'm super excited about it. And Renee and I were sharing the other day about how we used to attend the Texas Conference for Women in Austin, and we want to do something very similar to that here soon. So I appreciate you doing that again. As Renee mentioned, I'm the CEO of Eofficial Enterprises. A lot of people say Eofficial, but our last name is Eoff, and it is official. And thanks to our son and his Xbox name, Mr. Official. So we stole it for our company name once we got ready to do the hotel project. I'm the co-owner with my husband, Toby, of the Odessa Marriott and the downtown Odessa Starbucks. And I've been married to my husband, Toby, who was my high school sweetheart. We've been married for 37 years, and we have 2 children, 2 boys, Jared and Reese. Probably the most fulfilling thing that we've done, I don't even know if I'd say that, because Odessa Pumps was very fulfilling, but the project for downtown Odessa was born out of us selling our company. We wanted to do something to give back to the community, and with the city working on the project of revitalization for downtown, we decided that we wanted to be a big part of that and build a hotel to go with their conference center. So it's been a labor of love. It happened, we were open for a few months, and then COVID hit. It grew super fast, and we've been through a lot of staff because it's just been a learning experience. We have a management company that handles it, but it's getting there. Things are coming back, and we're so happy to be able to provide this type of establishment for Odessa. And so many times people come to us and say, why would you do this in Odessa? Why would you do it in Dallas or Houston or they'll say Midland. I was like, what? Not Midland, but no, we grew up in Odessa. I wouldn't mind. I don't mean that as a diss to Midland, but, we wanted to do something for Odessa, where we grew up, where we raised our children, and just something that would be impactful. Toby and I have talked about that, a socially impactful for Odessa. And the other day we were sitting there in the restaurant and saw many Odessans. It was a night that there were a lot of people in the restaurant and the bar, and we could tell that they were from Odessa. And it was so fulfilling to see that and think, okay, Odessans can come here, they can find a new place. There's one more place that they can go to and enjoy and be proud of Odessa. Colin and his group have done a great job with Parks Legato, and I just think that the more that Native Odessans can get in there and do for Odessa, we'll just be so proud of our city. And that's one of my goals for 2021 is to, make Odessans proud of what we have. And I've seen that a lot, where people are so, they'll make fun of Odessa so much. And I saw that when I was in the chamber board, that people will just make jabs at Odessa so much, and they shouldn't. We've chosen to live here. We could live other places. A lot of us have, and it just means so much to us with what Odessa and what it's done for our family. Success to me being happy. A big title, more money, more education can always leave you short. And a lot of people will say that's contrite to say, no, I'd like to have more money. But, we've all heard stories, we've all read stories of the richest people in the world that aren't happy, or they have a train wreck for their life, or if their marriage isn't happy, then their work life isn't happy. So it's very common sense once you've spent some time in the business world and you see, if you have a sick child at home, you can't be happy at work because you're concerned about them, someone's taking care of them, or if your marriage is in trouble, you just can't concentrate at work, or you have a sick parents. So your personal and professional life and just that work balance and being happy in all of it together is so very important. So to me, success is being happy in what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sondra. And I will say there are some wonderful remarks in the chat box for you and Toby and the work you've done with downtown. So be sure and check that out as well. So thank you. Our next panelist is Debi Hayes. She is the Ector County judge that we have here. I believe she is the third female to hold that position. So Judge Hayes, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Renee. And it is an honor to follow Sondra Eoff and the success that she has brought to the women in this panel. I cannot echo how proud I am that the success of the Marriott and to support it. The Texas County Judges Association and Commissioners will host the West Texas Conference in April. So I'm excited that we're getting to do it in our hometown and able to do it at the Marriott. I'm so proud of that. I moved to Odessa in 1982 from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I grew up in California and bounced back and forth between Texas and the West Coast. Landed here, moved from the Arlington area to Gardendale, and then moved into the northern side of Odessa that I've called home for over 30 years. I have been married for 41 years to a wonderful man that is my best friend. He is my biggest cheerleader and my support. I have been in the business world my entire career. I started out working for Mr. Bushman, worked my way up to his senior vice president for one of his subsidiaries and vice president for the other. I've worked in real estate, lending at commercial end, residential housing. Then decided, was asked to run to be your county judge, to be a servant. I have served on many boards in the Odessa area, but did not realize that when you took on the title of a county judge, that you also served on so many roles and wore so many hats, where you were such a servant, and it's such a pleasure to be able to be that servant for everyone that's listening and everyone in Ector County. One of the greatest things that I've got to do this year was to be the chairperson for the Freight Advisory Committee, which was 22 counties and 3 out of New Mexico. So it was a great challenge, and I was proud to be able to do that with a team full of stakeholders so that we could make sure that when the economy comes back this year, that we will have progress and planning in stages for how we can support the freight traffic up and down our highways. There are a number of other things that I'm proud that Ector County is a part of. But that is a list that would go on and on, because I am so proud of being a resident of Ector County and being a part, even though I did not go to school here. Success to me is, at the end of the week, knowing that I have been able to teach someone what integrity is, and to help them to be a better leader and role model in not only what they do, but in their family life, their church life, and in their business life. And at the end of the week, if I have done that, I feel very successful.
Very good. Thank you, Judge Hayes. I know with hundreds of employees, they look to you for that leadership, and we appreciate you very much. Another entity that has thousands of employees is Ector County ISD, and we have the Deputy Superintendent with us today, Dr. Stephanie Howard. I know it's spring break, but she managed to be with us. Thank you so much, Dr. Howard, for joining us.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you, everyone. As the others have said, it's just truly an honor to be here today to join this outstanding panel. We appreciate you, Renee, and the Chamber for hosting this event. As you said, I am the Deputy Superintendent for Ector County ISD, This is my third year back in the district. I left for about 3.5 years to move north and serve as the superintendent in Plains. This is my 26th year in education, with all of those years being in West Texas, with the exception of the time that I was up north. We love Odessa, we love West Texas. Anyone who moves here knows that the people are the nicest here. And when we bring consultants in, they say the same thing. And that's just how we've grown up and where we've lived most of our lives. My husband, James Howard, and I have been married almost 28 years. We'll celebrate our 28th anniversary this summer. We have 2 daughters, one who's a junior at Permian High School and one who's a 5th grader at Hayes STEAM Academy. So we spread them out a little bit. These 3 have supported me throughout my career. My husband's been very supportive. Both of my children were very young, one 7 months old when I became a principal and another one born during the time I was a principal. And so having small children while you're a principal and a high school principal, it definitely takes a supportive spouse that takes care of the kids while you're at every event that you need to be at. I serve on the board for the United Way of Odessa and Junior Achievement of the Permian Basin. And I'm really proud to be part of ECISD and extremely proud to be part of the team that's led through COVID this last year. It's really been different for us. It's been different for our students, our employees, our families, and just glad to be part of the team that's been able to lead through that process. My definition of success is doing what you love and working with others who love doing what you do as well. You know, when you're working with people who are all working towards the same goal, that makes it fun and it doesn't seem like work. You don't get up every day and think that you're going to work. Helping others be successful and helping them achieve more than they've thought was possible. Working in education all these years, in every role that I've worked in, and in working with others in different roles in education, from custodial to bus drivers to cafeteria to teachers and principals. When you work with great people, you're able to make a difference in the lives of students, and to me, that's the definition of success.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Howard. And it is very evident that you love what you do because you're very, very good at it. So, and then kudos to ECISD for doing an outstanding job this past year, despite all of the COVID issues. And thank you for helping out our 34,000 students that we have.
Thank you, Renee.
Staying with education, we have from Odessa College, Kim McKay. Kim is VP of Student Support Services. And Kim, we're so happy to have you with us today.
Thank you, Renee, and thank you to everyone that is serving and is watching. This is an important conversation to inspire our daughters and other women and young ladies that live in Odessa. Like Renee said, Kim McKay, I serve as Vice President of Student Services and Enrollment Management at Odessa College. My family and I moved to Odessa in 2013 to pursue this opportunity in higher education. Higher education wasn't in my really career goals. I had done fund development and end user computer training prior to entering higher education 17 years ago. But in the early 2000s, when the economy wasn't great and my funders were hiding from me at the grocery store and at church, I decided it was time for a career move. And at that point in time, South Texas College was a relatively new community college that was really growing and looking for support and outreach and enrollment services. And so that's where I first started in higher education and served there through 2013 when we made the move and had an opportunity for me not only to continue my pursuit in higher education, but to support my husband Garrett's career in the oil and gas industry. We have 2 kiddos, both at Permian, Gus and Georgia, moms of teenagers. This is a tough time, and I appreciate everything ECISD has done to help them continue learning and continue growing and being the kids that they need to be right now. So scope is pretty large when you look at student services and enrollment management. It's admissions and records and financial aid and testing, student support services, the early college high schools, student life and student conduct, residence life, campus police, athletics, marketing and media relations. So you can imagine, like the ladies on the panel, there's not one day that's the same. I never know what I'm going to expect when I get there. But it's always been such a joy to serve the students in the community through one of the best community colleges in the nation. When we talk about success at the community college, we measure it in a lot of different ways: connection, matriculation, enrollment, and completion. But I like to measure the success by the subjective things that's happening in between all of those objective measures, the inclusion and the diversity and the equity, the challenges and the triumphs that we face, not only as women in leadership, but also that our students face. College is hard, and it's even harder when you don't know what to expect during a pandemic. And so those are the things that I use to measure success as a professional. And it's in times like these when I really lean on my parents. They're the most generous and gracious and fair people I know. And so if I can apply those things to work every day on campus and really at home, I feel like I've had a good day, a successful day. And I get emotional, I'm sure. And those people that are watching me that know me know that this is not unusual for me to get emotional when I'm talking about family and about students, but their success is our success. And I think conversations like these are really important to motivate them and inspire them so that they can continue learning it and have opportunities like you're giving us right now.
Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that you allow your rawness to come out, because I think this is emotional for all of us when we start thinking down, you know, who has been our mentor and what is success to us. And so thank you for sharing that with us very much. Our next speaker is Erika Thomas. Erika is the Executive Director of Links, a nonprofit organization here in town, but she is also a past chairman of our Young Professionals of Odessa organization. So again, she wears many hats as everyone on this panel does. Welcome, Erika.
Hi, thank you for having me. I was getting emotional too, Kim, just hearing. Just like, there are so many hats that we wear as women, as leaders, and just trying to do it all. But that's really amazing work that you do. And I feel very privileged to be able to be here with all of you. Like Renee said, I am the executive director at Odessa Links. I actually, I was born and raised here in Odessa. Actually started my career in the nonprofit sector as a volunteer. I completed my bachelor's at UTPB in psychology, and my first year out of college, I actually served a year as a VISTA. So as a VISTA, a volunteer in service to America with Odessa Links. And so sort of like a internship. And after my year of service, I was very was very thankful that our board decided to hire me on as a program director. And I eventually assumed the role of executive director back in 2013. So I have a long history as far as service goes and volunteering, being involved with Odessa Links for close to 12 years now. I mean, I've been afforded the opportunity to work with so many great organizations and so many wonderful leaders and people that just continue to make an impact. And so I definitely recognize the privilege in being able to be in a capacity to serve, but also to lead and work alongside some really great people in our community. I would say, as far as, you know, defining success, I think for me early on, it was about just that self-determination to pursue goals and to, even if it was something minimal, just to kind of like, okay, that's one thing I've been able to tackle today. I feel successful. But over time, I think for me, success has been being able to provide mentorship and also, you know, not be stingy with the knowledge that I have and some of those leadership skills that others might have not had that exposure to. So I think, you know, just being a leader in my own, but also being able to share that wealth of knowledge and experience with others. That is what I define as success.
Wonderful. Thank you, Erika. And Erika, as I mentioned, part of YPO, a wonderful group of young professionals that we have in our community. up and coming leaders. And if you're not familiar with it, certainly we can help you get familiar with that here at the Chamber. So thank you, Erika, for your words.
Thank you.
A longtime friend that I want to introduce now. I had the pleasure of working with Christin Abbott Timmons at Medical Center Hospital many years ago. And I know many of you know her from the COVID reports that she has been doing for about a year now. So Christin, thank you for taking some time to be with us this afternoon.
Thanks, Renee. It is an honor, as everyone has said, to be here on screen with many of the ladies that are here. Oftentimes I say, I want to be like so-and-so when I grow up. And many of those women are here on this panel, one being of yourself when I first met you many years ago. So thank you for the invite. While I am like many others, I'm referred to as many things. I'm called many things. I'm first and foremost the daughter of Carl and Elizabeth Julian, who they were raised in Odessa and they chose to raise their family in Odessa. So that's kind of where we got seated here. I am married to Brad Timmons, and together we have 4 children. We have 2 boys and 2 girls. All are out of the house except for our youngest, and he is a junior at Permian High School. He keeps us very, very busy. And we also have 4 grandchildren. So we are very blessed. As I said, I've grown up in Odessa. My husband, we've raised children here in Odessa and now our grandchildren. So I'm very much a part of the community here. I am a registered nurse and I have been for 22 years and I'm employed here at Medical Center. I've been at the hospital for about 23 years now. I've served in various roles throughout the organization. I started as a nursing assistant here at the hospital. And over the years, I've just worked my way up. I worked my way through school. I played around with many different things as now I'm a chief nursing officer here, as well as the chief quality and patient experience. So I wear many hats within the organization. And of recent, I've been labeled the COVID queen because of so much that we've gone through in our own community here. Some tease that I've actually grown up here at Medical Center because long before I actually earned a paycheck from Medical Center, I was a junior volunteer or an AKA a candy striper many years ago when I was in junior high and high school. So I always knew I wanted to work in the healthcare field and take care of people. And I really felt like home at Medical Center, and I still do. So much appreciation to everyone at the hospital that has kind of nurtured and grown me to where I am today. I did graduate from Odessa College, so many shout outs to Kim and what she does for students. And then I obtained my master's in healthcare administration from Texas Tech University. Along with work, of course, I'm on many boards around the Odessa area, as well as involved with the symphony and all those things that our children do at the schools. Success to me in thinking about this was really just leaving my mark where things are a little better than they were before I was either involved or came across somebody. I think whether it's a big project or it's a small project or even just a person, I want someone to be able to say, Christin was involved and it was better, or Christin touched me and it was better. I just want to make sure that I am always doing what I can to make someone or something better. And if I can do those things, then I feel like I have truly been successful. And I will say that just being on this call kind of fits in my bucket of apparently I did something in order to touch someone or a project in order to be deemed successful. And I would hope that, as I'm sure my parents are watching, they'll, as long as they're proud, then I think I've been successful.
That's wonderful. And Christin, it is a pleasure to have literally watched you work your way to the very highest nursing position there at Medical Center. I'm so proud of you and for you. Thank you. We're almost finished rounding it out. We have a couple of more speakers to hear from. Mara Willis is with us. She was elected to the City Council of Odessa. She represents District 5. And we are so happy to have you with us. Mayor Willis. Councilwoman Willis.
Thank you, Renee, and I am truly honored to serve on this panel with so many amazing women that I've come to know from different walks of life, but it is my honor and my pleasure to serve on this panel. I'm Mara Spivey Willis, born and raised here in Odessa. I've worked for 3 of the major entities in our city. My career began with as a patient accounts manager with Medical Center Hospital. And then I moved on to the city of Odessa as director of billing and collection. And I finished my career and retired with Ector County ISD as a homebound teacher for our pregnant and parenting teens, which was very, very rewarding for me. I was elected to serve on the city council, proudly representing District 5 in the city of Odessa in November of 2018. I'm married to Kirk Willis, and we've been married 36 plus years now. We have 2 wonderful daughters, 2 amazing son-in-laws, and 2 amazing granddaughters. I serve on many boards. I'm a member of the St. James Baptist Church, and I'm a very proud member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, who our Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, is also a member. So I'm real proud of that. But as an elected official with the city, we faced many challenges during my over 2 years being there. Of course, the August 31st shooting was a major one. And then we have had to deal with the pandemic, along with other things that just go along with serving a city: infrastructure, finding out what we can do when, and just a number of challenges that I'm proud to say that we rise up to meet those challenges no matter what is thrown at us. I've served with great people on the city council, and I've learned so much, and it's just been a great opportunity for me. If I had to define success as a teacher, of course, I would have to define it as an accomplishment of an aim or a purpose. But for me personally, success happens and changes daily. It is when I am at peace with the balance God has led me to achieve each day that I find success. Success for me ranges from helping my neighbor to serving my community or just being Grammy. Success is loving what you do and helping others to find their way. And lastly, success is making a difference in the area or areas that God has assigned you to do. Thank you, Renee.
And you are truly successful in all those ways. So thank you so much for joining us today. Our final panelist we have with us, thank you for being so patient. We have Dr. Sandra Woodley with the University of Texas Permian Basin, and she joined our community a couple of years ago, and she has been going strong ever since. So we're so proud to have you at the helm of that university. Dr. Woodley.
So thank you for the opportunity. I've been here almost 4 years. It has gone by so fast. So I'm the president, Sandra Woodley. I'm the president of UT Permian Basin. Such a pleasure to wake up every day and get to do that job. I really sometimes have to pinch myself because I think this is really an amazing opportunity for me personally. You know, I'm married. I have 3 grown children, and I have 3 grandchildren, and I have 2 German Shepherds, and that's kind of my personal life. You know, I was, married at 18 and, had 2 small children. I've told this story many times. It would take me 10 years and working full time to become the first person in my family to graduate from college. And so those opportunities and struggles and challenges that many of my students also have, I think are some of the things that has provided me with the perspective to have success in my own life. I was vice president or president in 5 major university systems. This is my 2nd presidency. I was the president of University of Louisiana system before I came here, a system of 8 universities. You know, when I think about success, when I think about the things that have helped me to become successful, I think there's just a really important list of things that come to mind. And the first one is that determination, the resiliency, the work ethic that it takes to stay with something, even when you get knocked down over and over again. I can remember when I was trying to get through school, if the transmission went out, I had to stop out of college. And, sometimes it was very hard to find the time to study. so many challenges that we have, that determination is something that will take you far. I don't think you have to be the smartest person in the room. You don't have to go to an Ivy League institution to be successful. Those things are not mandatory for your success, but you do have to be a hard worker and have that work ethic. I would also say that integrity is really important. People have to trust you. You have to be able to earn people's trust. I mean, when you think about people that you've worked for or people that you've been around, not every time when someone tells you something, do you feel confident that they're telling you the truth or that you can trust their judgment or that they have that integrity. And I really do aspire to be one of those leaders that if I say something to the best of my ability, it's true, you can earn that trust. And I think the last thing I would say is it's very important to, to have a good attitude and to be likable. Now, I don't mean that you have to be a people pleaser or that everyone will like you, but if you don't, if you're not genuinely interested in the success of other people, if you're not generally warm and friendly to people, then people won't follow you in your leadership. People need to be able to know that, that you care about their success as a leader and that you are interested in what's going on. So those are, I think, are the things that I think about when I think about success.
Well, you have certainly been successful here at UT Permian Basin and you're right, 4 years has gone by so quickly. But again, I can't imagine not having you there leading that group. We've seen it grow and we know there are so many wonderful things ahead for the university. Thank you for joining us on our panel. So now we get to our questions. We have 5 different questions and we're going to ask, the first questions will be for Stacey Brown and Dr. Sharon Cannon. We would like for you to give us an example of a challenge that you have faced during your career and how you have overcome. And we'll start with Stacey and then she will volley that to Dr. Cannon.
Thank you, Renee. I think I would be crazy if I didn't say probably my biggest challenge ever in my career has been this COVID pandemic. Being a CEO of a hospital in the middle of a pandemic like we've never seen before is clearly at the top of my list. I will say that I was fortunate that I have always tried to hire people who are smarter than me. They make you look good. And I certainly did that not only with my nursing team and the leaders, but certainly with someone like Dr. Rohit Saravanan, who's our Chief Medical Officer, who helped guide our community through this COVID pandemic. I never had a Chief Medical Officer before 2 years ago, and I certainly cannot even fathom not having someone like him by my side during this pandemic. I could rely on him. I trusted him. I'm smart enough to know that I need to stay in my lane, and I know what I know well, but there's plenty that I don't know, and that's why we have a team. We have the different people on our team who bring different areas of expertise to the table. And so I had no problem whatsoever stepping back and letting him lead when that's what was the best thing to do, because he certainly was well equipped to do that. So that's the example I think, Renee, that I would give.
Thank you. Dr. Cannon, let's hear from you.
Well, you know something, I didn't have to take very long to think about this. I would agree the pandemic's probably been the greatest challenge for every single person here on this panel. But I had something happen to me. I worked for a dean who was just absolutely awesome. And I did it in an area that I'd lived for a number of years, worked for her. And I decided to make a life change and I moved away. And 1 month after I moved away, it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I remember looking out the window thinking, I don't know if I can make it to 5 o'clock here. It was one of the hardest positions I'd ever been in. And so I spent a lot of time thinking about it. I will tell you that the result was I stayed for almost 2 years. And the reason I did was because I wanted to learn how not to be. I had gone from such a warm mentoring Jane to one that was just the opposite. So it taught me a lot. It was an opportunity for me to learn to grow and to figure out another way to approach things. But it certainly taught me how I didn't want to be. And it took a lot to stay. I have to tell you, every day there was a conversation. I was listening to all of you talk about the joy of going to work. And I will tell you that if you ever have the opportunity, and I hope none of you do, to have to go to work every day and try to make it through and to understand from that day something that you can take, that you can work with down further on in your career. And so in many ways, I have to tell you, I was fortunate to have that opportunity because it taught me a lot. Stacey, you're right. We don't know what we don't know. And so we have to have people around us that can help us. I was fortunate enough to have a lot of support from both of my children who were actually not with me at the time, but they were extremely supportive of me. And so were my parents. And I had a father that said to me at one point, you know, you just sometimes have to stick it out. It just isn't always going to go your way. And so the best you can do is to learn from the opportunity you have in front of you. And so with that, I have to tell you, I am thankful that I had it. I don't want to do it again. And I've been very fortunate not to have that happen again. But it was a challenge every day to go to work and to not make it a downer for the other people that were around me. That's another thing, is they didn't need to know that I was unhappy or that I was not able to deal with what was going on. So a lot of it had to do with just kind of, you know, what's the saying? Put your big girl panties on and go on, Sharon. So that's what it did.
Great advice for us. Yes. Thank you so much for that. Our next question for both Sondra Eoff and Judge Hayes. Who has been your biggest role model? Sondra, we'll start with you.
Anyone that's heard me speak knows what I'm going to say today. So, but my biggest role model is Mother Teresa. My faith's very important to me, and she was such a great example of strong faith and determination. And, you know, to be such a small person, she was just, you know, formidable. I mean, no one was going to mess with her. You know, they just, she saw things bigger than her and she made them happen. And, you know, along with that faith, I think about, you know, 1 Corinthians with faith, hope, and love. You know, you've got to have your faith. And then if you've got your faith, it just keeps you positive. And so there's always going to be hope. And then love, you know, loving God, loving the people that are around you. Toby and I have, you know, worked on personal development for years and years. I worked at Odessa Regional for 15 years before I got on with the family company. And I spent a lot of time trying to educate others on, you know, personal development. And with, you know, as with Mother Teresa, she didn't mind meeting with people, learning new things. You know, I wanted to share that with others and make sure that we were constantly working on personal education, personal development, and then educating others. We did that with Odessa Pumps. We do that now with the hotel. It's just important that, you know, as Sandy mentioned, you know, working with people that have high integrity. In days like today, you know, I talked about it before, that people think so negatively of our city, or they might think negatively of their fellow worker. You know, you can't dwell on that. You just need to make sure that what you're doing is right and what you're doing is good. And, you know, I pass out a prayer card every time that I speak, and, you know, to young and old, you know, different ages. And it's just do good anyway. That's what Mother Teresa did. You know, she didn't care if people were unreasonable. She just kept trudging forward and did that. You know, she was always kind and unselfish. And, you know, she had a saying, if you were successful, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyway. You know, there's no reason to concentrate on what others are doing. You just keep, or what they think of you. You just keep moving forward as long as you can lay your head on that pillow at night and go to sleep without any concern about what you did that day. That's what keeps me going. And I think it's important for everyone to know that, you know, do good anyway, and just keep it in mind to keep your environment positive, surround yourself with positive people, and or they'll get you down. If you around someone that's constantly bringing everyone else down to bring themselves up, you know, that's not a good environment. So just keep yourself with strong women, men, people that are positive, and people of high integrity. That's my motto.
Well, you certainly emulate her. So a good role model for you, Sondra, and you, as you are a role model for so many others. Judge Hayes, let's hear from you. Your role.
You know, when I read that question, that who has been your biggest role model? And that is not an easy question when you're my age, because you've been around so many people. There are women that are on this panel that have been a role model to me in working through our mass shooting, through COVID. There are women and there are men that have helped build character in each and every one of us. You can think back of who probably was the biggest person that made an impression on me. And I'd really have to say that was my mom. I'm gonna try real hard not to get emotional on this one. My upbringing was not picture perfect. There was abuse in our family. But my mom was always strong. She held the glue. She was the glue that held our family together. When times were rough and you weren't really sure whether or not you were going to be able to put food on the table, you realized it when the beans were just a little bit more watery and there was bread instead of meat. When there wasn't times when you could have an Easter basket, my mom was very crafty. And she would take a plain old brown paper sack and let us color it with our crayons. And we would cut the top and make a handle and then fill it with real grass. And she'd boil eggs for us while we colored them, and then we would fill that Easter basket up. My mom taught me to be strong. She taught me to overcome circumstances. And she made me realize, because she would set me down and she would tell me about the other successful women that should be role models to all of us. She would tell me about Susan B. Anthony, who fought for the women to be able to have the right to vote. About Sally Ride, who was the first American astronaut. About Deborah Sampson, who was the first female soldier in the Revolutionary War. In 1912, Alice Wells was the first American-born police officer. And of course, Sandra Day O'Connor, who was the first to serve as the U.S. female on the Supreme Court justice. If you set the bar high enough, no matter what you've gone through, you struggle, you persevere, and you look up and you know that no matter what path or what doors opened, that the Lord is the one who opened that door for you. And you hold your head high and you march through it, because you know that He is guiding you through every little step. So my mom would have to be my favorite role model.
Sounds like she was a wonderful teacher to you, and thank you for sharing that. Our next question is for Dr. Howard and Kim McKay. We all, get bogged down. We want to know what you do to refuel or recharge yourself to keep on going.
Well, first of all, Judge Hayes, that was very emotional. You almost made me reach for a tissue, so thank you for sharing that. Probably like most of the ladies on this panel, when we do have time to refuel and recharge, it takes us a few days to even get into that mode because we're not in the mode of stepping back and just taking time for ourselves, whether it's work or family. And then in the roles that we serve in, we're always on call. So whether it's a weekend or a spring break or a holiday, you know, when someone needs something, when the organization needs something, you step up and you do that. You get back to people, you respond to text and emails and phone calls when they need something. And so that's just something that I think we know when we sign on for the jobs that we're in, that's part of it. And so with all that being said, when we do have time to rest and recharge and relax, spending time with family, traveling, and just getting away. We have a place southwest of Abilene that's close to family. It's out in the country. It's quiet, it's relaxing, and just a chance, like Stacey said, you just kind of take a deep breath when you get there and everything seems to slow down. So that's what we enjoy doing.
Wonderful. How about you, Kim? And it's funny that I would ask either one of you these questions because it is spring break, your time to have a break, and you're here working with us. So thank you to both of us. We didn't plan this question to come to both of you, but Kim, tell us what you do to recharge and refuel.
Dr. Howard's right. I think every single one of us are the people that get the 3 a.m. phone call. So there is very little time to really recharge and reflect on work or family. I have to be honest, when you first sent me this question, I was like, man, this is not my sweet spot. I do not do all of the solid, proven things that leaders use to reflect and recharge. You won't get a podcast recommendation from me. You won't hear about authors that I read. When early in my career in higher education, and I had 2 toddlers and a husband that was traveling, somebody asked me, what do you do in your free time? And I said, honestly, I stare at the wall. I mean, it was just those quiet times that there was no distractions. Nobody was needing me at that moment. That give me an opportunity to recharge and to reflect. And I'll be honest with you today, I've done the whole deep dive in the Harry, Oprah, Meghan Markle thing, which has been really enjoyable for me and a distraction in a way that it's not my train wreck. And I say that a lot at work, you know, that's not my train wreck. And that's why I'm curious and I learn from things like the Harry and Meghan Markle thing or the Bachelorette. But I also think that the thing that recharges me the most, and the reason that I'll continue to work during spring break, and the reason that I'll continue to support students during spring break is really students. It's those conversations. It's the opportunity to laugh with them and laugh at them and cry with them and cry for them that give me purpose and make coming to work every day really enjoyable. Allow me to continue doing what I love to do, serving the students that we have the opportunity to create solutions that really do change their lives. Like Judge Hayes says, there has to be someone that gives you that lifeline or that creativity or that solution to put your life on a different path. And for our students, sometimes that's a family sustaining wage. And so those are the things that recharge me and reconnect me to the work that we do every single day.
That's wonderful. Well, I hope you both get to enjoy the rest of your spring break after today is over. And now we want advice on achieving both personal and professional balance. And that is really tough. But to answer that for us today, we have Erika and Christin. So Erika, we'll start with you.
So I too don't necessarily always practice this, but I do know that kind of speaking to Dr. Howard, you know, women there's still that mental load and invisible work that we don't even account for that still gets us off balance. So even when we think we're like, okay, 50-50, you don't account for the stuff that you don't see, the things that are behind the scenes that are it's keeping the ship running. And so I would say for me, setting healthy boundaries has really helped keep that balance in my life. And I would say my spouse, Mr. Aaron Thomas, he's actually provided a lot of help in that area as far as keeping that balance and unplugging, and not necessarily always having, that strict response time that us as leaders pride ourselves in. I have to, let me send that email real quick, or even if I'm on vacation, might just check in. I think it definitely helps to have a strong support system and someone that will kind of help you be accountable and being able to relax and step back and say, hey, all of this, what's it for? If not, to have that time away where you can reset, recharge, and where you can have a vacation and, not necessarily need to know what's going on at the office. They have it covered. I definitely think having those boundaries and knowing not necessarily when to say no, but saying not right now. So, definitely volunteering and so many different projects in the community. I definitely love getting involved and trying to participate wherever I can, contribute where I can, and definitely can lead to just overload, overscheduling, overcommitment. And that has really helped me kind of scale back and make sure that my priorities still remain in having that balance so that I can function at the end of the day. It might not be right now that I can participate, but, circle back, not right now. Let's check in 6 months. That definitely has helped me to still be able to participate down the road and just be in the now, be present, and to make sure that, that self-care is always present and is at the forefront to make sure that I'm not going down a road of burnout. And I think a lot of women, it's very easy for us to do that because we tip the scale sometimes. And so definitely surround yourself with people that are going to support you and not only hold you accountable on the work side, but also on the balance and personal side that you can, let loose and genuinely just be impactful at the end of the day, because you won't be so spread thin. So that's definitely how I do it. And I'm very thankful that I've been able to practice that more. Probably in the last 5 years that I've been married, having that partner that is, able to take me away on a vacation, or, hey, let's time out, let's go play again. Let's play board games has been big in our household. We're very competitive. Yahtzee's been the thing right now. But definitely someone just like, hey, let's just go take a walk. Let's go catch a movie, or, just kind of step away. It definitely helps. So I think that's what really, what will really help you achieve that balance.
Right. Thank you, Erika. Boundaries and stepping away. Great advice. Christin, during a year where you've had zero time to refuel and recharge, what is it that you think does that for you?
So I'm on the personal professional balance. It's a true work in progress for me. Especially this year, I really struggle with balance because when I'm in, I'm all in. And so it is very hard for me to take a break away. And I actually kind of laughed out loud whenever I saw the question that my name was assigned to, because it's probably one of the hardest things for me. I will say I'm a lot better now at the division between my personal and professional and that balance than I was 5 years ago. I think being in this leadership role and having the mentors that I have definitely kind of pushed me along the way so that I wasn't taking it all on for myself. I put things on my calendar more, and my assistant, she knows what is not negotiable. We've put some colors to it. So my calendar when I see a certain color, I know that this is not negotiable, especially those things that are personal, baseball games, ballet recitals. We've put them on there ahead of time so that we just know that for me, those things are, you got to get out of here on time for these. I pick a day and it doesn't always work. I know if my husband's listening, he's laughing saying, you're one day late. This is not normally one day. But I really try to do one day late at work so that everyone knows that Tuesdays, mom's not going to be home until 6, 7 o'clock at night. I just really at least try for the one day. And that way, even my staff knows she's going to be here late if I need her. But after that, she's not going to be here. I've really learned to lean on those people that I work alongside. As many of the ladies have said, I know certain things and I'm good at certain things, but there's other things that I'm not. I have been blessed with some very, very talented nursing leaders. And so leaning on them to do things, knowing that I don't have to do them all myself, I can step away and they can run this ship like they don't even need me. And so that's a blessing to know I have that. I also, some years ago, our preacher did a message on being present, looking at your children and those types of things. And so they rolled out this app called Parent Cue. And it really is a circle around your child's face. And so that app sends me reminders. So I think a visual reminder for me to say, you have, and I looked this morning, 123 weeks left with Hayden. That is very eye-opening when you see that your circle is almost closed, because I want to count for every single thing that he's doing in the few weeks that I have left before he takes off to school and he thinks he's an adult. And I think the most important thing to keep me balanced is my crew. And I say my crew, my family, because it consists of more than just my husband and my kids and my parents. It's even my boss that comes in here and says, Christin, you've been here late and you didn't ask for tomorrow off, but you're taking tomorrow off. Or your family is first, so don't even ask me if you can go to the baseball game. Just, I expect you to be there. That kind of support is very, very helpful for people in my role to have some balance, knowing that it's okay and it's expected. And then also having that supportive family where they know that anything I'm going to do, I'm all in. In fact, my husband tells me all the time, please tell me you did not volunteer us for something. Please tell me you did not say yes to that. Because there's so much on the plate already. But them being able to say, we need some mom time, or I need a date night. Can you put your phone down and focus on me just a minute? Just that blunt honesty is very helpful for me because I can get into the routine of I'm answering my phone every 5 seconds. And so to know that someone else is going to basically call me out and say, okay, time out. I need you and I need you present here at home, and work can wait. That's a good reminder for me. So it's very helpful.
Absolutely. That is a good reminder that all of us need to be reminded of. So thank you. Thank you, Christin. We have our last question for our 2 final panelists, but I do want to encourage you, if you do have any questions for the panel, please put them in the chat box and we'll get to those shortly. So our last question for for both Mara Willis and Dr. Woodley, what is your thought when you hear, or your question, can you have it all? And we'll start with Mara Willis.
Wow, what a question. I would like to say that, or ask another question, do we really need to strive for it all? What is all? I believe that each of us can be and are equipped with enough, rather than all. I use the term enough. I think that our goal, that should be our goal, and that's what I share with the young people that I mentor. Sometimes thinking that we have to have it all can create other issues that bring about negative responses on that person. Am I good enough? Am I tall enough? Am I short enough? Am I fat enough? Am I skinny enough? Do I have enough degrees? Do I have enough money? So we have to be very careful if our goal is to achieve it all. But then what happens is that for that person that has to have it all, you get to that point and you find out there's even more. So you don't have it all at that point. I think enough, saying that I have enough, it equips us with the certainty that what we have is of value, of worth, and that with enough, with what we've been given, we still have the ability to make a big difference. Now, I believe that there also must be a balance, and to know exactly what brings you a feeling of peace and accomplishment. What I've learned is that God equips us with everything we need for our journey, and he gives it to us as we need it. So can we have it all? I would say probably no, because there's always something else you can have, but we can't have enough. And one of the quotes that I go by is, it says, you are called to something, but not to everything. You are called to some, but not to all. And pray for wisdom to see the difference. And so I think that's the key, is knowing that there is a place for you, but it's not every place. There are some people that you will serve, but maybe not everyone. And then pray for wisdom to know the difference. So can you have it all? Let's just try to have enough and take care of that.
Excellent advice. Yes. All right, Dr. Woodley, you're wrapping us up with the question. What is your thought when you hear, can you have it all?
Well, I think certainly you can't have it all at the same time, many times. And I think that's where we go astray. I can remember a very specific example when I was finishing up a certain semester. I had 20 hours. I was working full time. I had 2 toddlers at home. I had finals in every single one of my classes. I was OCD. I felt like I had to have an A, not just in every class, but on every single assignment. So I just was killing myself. And I remember very distinctly sitting on the step after a final in economics where I know that I didn't make an A. I mean, I felt like I really bombed it, right? So I'm sitting on the steps and I am sobbing like a little child. And here I am, I'm sobbing. And my economics professor came out and he said, "What is wrong with you?" And I said, I don't know. I'm just inconsolable over not making an A on that test. And maybe even, God forbid, making it a C, which I think is what I made on that test. And he said, "Have you even made a B in college since you've been here?" I said, "Well, no." He said, "Well, get up off that step and go home. You're going to be fine." And so all of us, I think, certainly everybody on this panel, we're high achievers. We're, we want to be the first one in and the last one out. And we're, as Christin said, we're all into every single thing that we're doing. I think it is important to give yourself a break and to understand that sometimes your entire focus has to be at work because there is a crisis that week and you have to be all in. Or 4 finals in a single week. I didn't spend much time with my children that week. And then there are times when I think you can, ease back into some part of your balance. I think the balance is imbalanced, right? So it's really hard to have everything going perfectly at all of the same time. And I think it is important for us as leaders to understand that you just need to give it your best and give yourself a break. If you can't be balanced, in that particular week, maybe we balance over a lifetime rather than over a certain week or a certain month.
Just some grace, just having some grace for yourself. Absolutely. Right. Well said. A couple of things that have come up. First of all, I just wanted to read one of the comments that great panel of strong, confident, successful women validating what other strong, confident, successful women know. We need each other for support and we need to know when to ask for help. So thank you, Christy, for making that comment. Another question, and I'm going to pose this one to Christin, and it's specific to the healthcare field. What is your definition of leadership and what advice would you give to a young nurse aspiring to be a leader of the community searching for a mentor?
Wow, that's a tough one. I tell everybody to seek out as much learning opportunities as you can. Everyone can contribute something to you. And so many nurses will come on and they want to be a nurse practitioner right off the bat, or they want to run a department right off the bat. And so I always try to tell them to pace themselves. really look at everybody that you have, soak in all the knowledge that you can from everyone that you could possibly lay your hands on, because every little patient, every little colleague can really teach you something to grow you, to be a better nurse. And if we're so busy striving to be something more than what we are at this moment, then you tend to miss all those little things that are going to shape and form you into the best nurse that you can possibly be for the patients that you're taking care of.
Excellent. Thank you, Christin. And you talked about when you were young, you served as a candy striper, a member of the junior volunteer program. And I think that's another thing is we don't, you know, and when I've been looking at the list of those who are joining us today, it is all ages. And I do want to say at this point that we are recording this. We will have this posted on our website. We will also be sending out a link. And we want you to share it with your daughters and your granddaughters and women, your friends and your church friends. You know, we women do have to stick together. And there are some men on our call, and I'm so glad to see that because it's about leadership and refueling, finding that balance regardless of woman or man. We all need that in our life. And many comments have been that the special person in our life has enabled us to get through things. And we know that family also often gets the brunt of us, but they also are the ones who keep us going. So let's see. What is a piece of advice that you would give to your younger self? And I'm going to pose this one to Sondra Eoff. Sondra, what is a piece of advice that you would like to tell yourself many years ago?
I started this later in life, so I wanted to, I had written that down and didn't get to use it. So thank you for asking me. Read, or now what younger people do, they listen to a book. And like Christin said, go out there and gather, you know, learn from other people, be a lifelong learner. It is so important to know someone may be smarter than you, or they may still be in school and learning a lot, but if you're right alongside them, you know, you even the playing field. If you've read the latest book or you've talked to the latest expert on COVID or whatever it is, just keep yourself knowledgeable about current events, or especially about technology or science or emotional intelligence, anything that is out there. I've always got a book that I'll listen to it first. I have come to the 20th century and I'll listen to it first. Now I couldn't stand to not buy a book before, but I'll listen to it now. And then if it's worth buying, then I'll go ahead and buy it. It's because I love to write notes and highlight, and then I'll think, okay, who needs this book? And I'll buy some more and write them a note and give it to them. But it's just so important to share that with others, and you don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's out there and someone's done it and doesn't mind sharing it at all. So read. It improves your vocabulary. It makes you stronger, smarter. I mean, just be curious. I was reading something earlier that says being curious is better than being smart. And it is, because I'm so curious. If I see something, I want to be right in the middle of it, knowing what's going on. And Stacey, I saw her the other day, and I said, Stacey, I used to be I was an employee at Odessa Regional, and then I was on the board, and I had to get off because we were really busy with the hotel, the building of the hotel. And then I saw her at the restaurant at the hotel the other day, and I said, okay, I'm going off a board and I'd really like to get back on ORMC board. So if you have an opening in the near future, let me know, because I'm so fascinated with what's going on right now with the medical and, in the medical field. I'd love to be back on there and be in the middle and know more about it. And so Toby looked at me like I was crazy, but get whatever you're passionate about, get involved and grab a book or listen to one. It's just important to be a lifelong learner.
Absolutely. Ask lots of questions. I know my family, I drive them crazy because I'm always so inquisitive, but I have a lot of questions that I want answers to. And yes, always increasing our knowledge. Very good. So right now we are almost out of time, and I appreciate you all. I feel like you're just going to be blurting this out, but we have about 11 minutes left. And if we run over just a bit, hopefully people will stick with us. But we want to just start with our group again and ask, what piece of advice do you wish someone would have given you when you were starting your career? And Stacey, we're going to start back with you on that question.
What piece of advice when I started my career? Probably just to have a little bit more of that balance early on. I did tend to be, I mean, it goes back to what Christin said. I'm all in. When I'm in, I'm all in. And I do think there were times in my career when I weighed more towards work. I just felt like that was my priority. People depended on me for it. And so I think in the end, I needed more balance early on. I think I've learned how to do that over a 35-year career. I schedule my time, like Christin said. I don't miss sports events and those things. I schedule them the minute I get the calendar, and I drive to those games. I might be working in the passenger seat on the way, but I'm going to be at that game. And so I think that is probably the most important piece of advice that I would have is your family is first. And we as women, I know we get the major things done, but we can still tend to skimp on that one-on-one time if we're not careful. And so you have to make sure you take care of your husband and you take care of your children.
Excellent. Thank you, Stacey. Dr. Cannon, how about you?
Well, to echo also, I would say you also have to take care of you. That's another piece that we sometimes forget to do. The biggest piece of advice, I think, I graduated from college, got married, had children, never expected things to happen the way they did. So I think the biggest piece of advice I would give at this point is to be prepared for life events. Because life events have taken me from Texas to Montana to Oklahoma to Missouri to Illinois to Arkansas to Alabama and back to Texas again. And so each of those life events, some were happy, some were not. And we all experience them. And so I think be open to the opportunities and to the trajectory that your life might take, that you never ever thought would. I never dreamed I would be sitting where I am doing what I'm doing today. And I am so pleased and so proud to be able to say I'm here and I'm doing this. What a great and wonderful opportunity it is to be a part of this panel, to be a part of this Odessa community. And so you may never dream what you end up with. And so life events will come. You're going to have to be flexible and you're going to have to be prepared to move with them.
Thank you. Great advice again. Sondra, this kind of fits back into the question that we had for you earlier. What about you? What's some advice that you wish you had had?
Yeah, don't be intimidated by others. You know, it's real easy to be intimidated. You know, if you're the only woman in the room, I mean, how many times have any of us been a part of that? Maybe the only woman in the room, and it can be intimidating at times. But you know, don't be intimidated. You know, they may be intimidated by you. You know, and be careful as a woman about being too emotional. You know, men can be emotional or get upset very easy too. But just be careful about being emotional. So many times I've told people that, you know, if you want to hurt my feelings, tell me. You know, I'm not going to get emotional about something. I just want to, I'm just there with something that I'm passionate about and I want to share it with others. And, you know, I just have to, sometimes I have to talk myself down and not be intimidated, you know, even still, but just don't be intimidated. Just be strong in your own person.
Absolutely. Great advice. All right, Judge Hayes, how about you?
So I think it's women are multitaskers. So we have lots of things that are on our to-do list, whether it's the things that we put on our to-do list that have to do with our job or with our personal lives. And so sometimes I think what we do is we take it personal when we don't complete all of the things that are on our to-do list, or I do. So I would encourage you to not be discouraged when you don't do things that you feel like is in your timing, because things are not really in our timing. Things are really and truly in God's timing. And so I would just encourage everyone out there that I wish that someone had told me, you know what, you can reach for the stars, but go beyond the stars and lasso the moon and continue to just keep your head high, focus, and have faith.
Very good. How about you, Dr. Howard?
Well, actually, I think they did give me this advice, but back then I didn't listen very well. But to take time for family, be at events and activities that they have going on. Early in my career, I would work late. You know, when a project was not due for 2 or 3 weeks, I would work late just because I thought that's what I needed to do. And over the years, I've learned to better utilize my time. Certainly, like the others have said, there are times you work, you know, around the clock if you need to, but there are times when you don't have to do that. And sometimes just that to-do list can cause us to stay at work when we don't need to be. But like Stacey and Christy said, I block off track meets and cross-country meets and other events so that I can make sure that I'm at those and I work everything around it. And those are the weeks if I need to work late, so that when I'm out, and like Stacey said, many times my husband drives and I'm working, answering emails, you know, doing something that I feel like I need to do, but I'm there.
Love that. Thank you. All right, Kim, how about you?
So we're getting some great advice today, and Sandra's right. Imposter syndrome is real for women in leadership, and so I appreciate you bringing that perspective to this conversation. I think the best advice that I got kind of as I moved along in higher education is the definition of fair. It's about making sure that you have what you need to be successful, not necessarily having what everybody else has. Success looks different for everyone, and it doesn't mean you all have the same thing. And this is how I try to approach situations with students, with my team, with my colleagues, and with my family. I'm better in some instances than others, but at the end of the day, I am a fixer and a problem solver. So I'll do whatever I can to make sure that it's fair for you. I'll be generous and gracious, and at the end of the day, you'll always know that I care.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kim. All right, Erika, how about you?
I would say probably show myself more grace, be less critical of myself. I think, you know, sometimes we do get wound up in, like, you know, we have to be perfect, or we have to show up at just a different level. And so there doesn't leave a lot of room for grace or mistakes. And so you can have the most successful event, day, program, or whatever. I think you need to take time to be present in that success. And then later on, if you want to have that conversation, okay, what could we have done better? You can, but sometimes it doesn't even need to happen. Sometimes you just need to give yourself grace. It was successful. We got what we needed to accomplish, and leave it at that. So.
Well said, yes. Christin, how about you?
Trying to unmute, there it goes. So I would definitely have to say slow down. You know, it's even when you have children, it's, well, I can't wait till they can crawl. I can't wait till they can walk. I can't wait till they can drive. And many times my parents would tell me, slow down. You don't have to have like the biggest and the best right this second. Take it one step at a time. Because when I would go through school, I'd be like, okay, I can't wait till I get out of high school. I can't wait till I get out of college. It was always hurry, hurry, hurry. And I find myself doing that. And I have to say, if I could tell myself at a younger time, you don't have to have everything right this second. Enjoy the wins, enjoy the challenges, learn from them, You don't have to have the staircase all at once. You can build it one stair at a time. And so I would definitely tell my younger self to just slow down and enjoy what you accomplish when you accomplish it.
Absolutely. Great advice. Mara, how about you?
The one piece of advice, or maybe two pieces if I could, is don't be afraid to take the risk. Oftentimes we don't achieve what we want because we just are afraid of that risk. So I would tell them to take the risk. But more importantly, what I would tell someone is to always build pause and breathe into your life. Just take time to pause and just breathe. Just be quiet, just breathe, get away from it all. And I think in those times when you're quietly breathing, that's where your direction comes. That's where you can slow your mind, slow your body, slow your soul, and then you can truly realize your passion, your direction, and where you need to be at this time in this world. So just pause, press pause and breathe.
Press, pause, and breathe. I love that. All right, Dr. Woodley, last, certainly not least, what is your advice?
So I think, one of the biggest areas of advice is to learn to seek out and to be reflective when you have criticism. And I think this is very hard to do. And I think I've gotten better at it over time. It's always uncomfortable to really be reflective when you're being criticized, but everybody on this panel and any person who is in a leadership position is going to be criticized. And criticism is a little bit like comedy. It's like a joke. It's only funny if it's at least partially true. And if you have a tranche of criticism coming your way, you have to at least give yourself the gift of self-honesty to understand that there's something that you're doing that needs improvement. You need to be honest with yourself, you need to be reflective, and you need to work really hard at trying to improve, because I think that's how you become excellent. That's how you achieve excellence, is, to listen sometimes to what may be a hard truth about something that you've done or something that you can improve.
Well, this has been a whirlwind hour and a half, these 90 minutes. I know that I'm leaving here feeling very empowered. There are many comments on the chat that I hope you'll get to go back and read. Again, we have recorded this, and we will be having it on our website, and we'll send that out to you all who participated. Before we leave, a couple of things. I do want to share my screen again and thank these sponsors that we've had here. We have platinum sponsors here at the Chamber that support us throughout the year. You see those listed on your screen, and so appreciate everything that they do for us. Even with COVID, they've continued to show their support, although many of our events have been canceled, but they have been there right alongside with us. I do want to tell you just a little bit, going through the research for today, I found a quote, and it said, "Little girls with dreams become women with vision." And I think all of you represent those little girls who had dreams and have created that and have a vision, and you've put that to work not only in your organization, but in our community as well. So I want to thank you on behalf of the Chamber for participating in our inaugural event. Again, we hope to do something similar to this on a much larger scale in the future. And we have so many phenomenal women who are in our community, and we'll be able to feature them and more. We've had, we have had a wonderful response. Thank you for our audience members for stepping in today and for being a part of this. I also want to thank our chamber staff who have literally thrown this together the last couple of weeks. Thank you to our operations staff for doing that. And I want to leave you with this. The theme of this year's International Women's Day is Choose to Challenge. And I think we can all figure out what that means for us on an individual basis. But we do need to challenge ourselves and others around us to be better, to do better, and to make our communities better. So again, thank you, ladies, for serving with us today. I hope that those of you who have listened in have learned something. And we're so proud to have these 10 phenomenal women in our community. And we just thank you for spending some time with us. And thank you for supporting the Odessa Chamber.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Have a wonderful week ahead, and stay in tune for our plans for next year's International Women's Day. Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.